on your way out. And it's a program that helps students basically figure out who they are and where their passions lie so that they can find a career that matches those same interests. Also, if you have a question for Scott during the presentation or after, would you please wait for Tyson to bring the microphone? We're recording the lecture so that students who aren't able to be here in person will be able to see it afterwards. So if you could help us out in that regard, we'd really appreciate it. And without any further ado, I will introduce Scott. So Scott Lazerson is a global media strategist, having served as an executive director of the Larry King Cardiac Foundation. Scott understands how to effectively navigate the worlds of celebrities, media, and public relations. With uncanny insight and timing, Scott leverages his extensive rodeo to make invaluable connections for others. Living by the mantra, it is not only who you know, but what you know about who you know. He has opened doors and makes introductions to people you don't even know you need to know. Scott and his company, consultant with Outfit 7, creators of the hit iPhone app Talking Tom, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, the United Nations Global Entrepreneur Council, global nonprofit Stop Hunger Now, and several other celebrities and high-profile individuals. He has successfully placed clients in various media outlets, including Forbes, The Today Show, Harper's Bazaar, Fox News, Bloomberg, and others. Scott lives in Orem, Utah, with his wife, Heidi, and their 5 children. Follow him on Twitter at Scott Lazerson. So without any further ado, here's Scott.
Thank you. There's all of 10 of us in here, so this will be fun. We'll just dive right in. Well, 14 of us, I counted. Thanks for having me. I love coming up here. And I'm going to ask one first question. How many of you are on Twitter? 1, 2. No? Wow, okay. Good. I know Tyler is. Actually, Tyler and I just met live today, but we've been probably for a year following each other on Twitter.
At least.
And how did we even connect on Twitter?
I tweeted you once, and I was like, me.
Yeah, because I'm a huge fan of UVU. So let me put that out there. I'm a huge fan of UVU. I love coming here, and I live right here in Orem. So I have been fortunate enough for the last 5 semesters to have interns. Other than, I think we've had one come from Logan and one from the University of Utah, but the rest have all been from UVU. So I'm going to put that out there, that we actually are going to be looking for our spring and summer interns, and we're actually hopefully enlisting Tyler today. But Claudine and Tom, who are 2 of my interns, are here, and I appreciate you connecting me with Career Passport, correct? Yes. I got it right? Okay. And having me here today. So I'm going to hand out a little piece of paper right now for each of you, and on it I'm going to want your name, your email, and I want you to think about, and I want you to suspend all reality for one moment today. And I don't know where everyone is in their college career, freshmen, juniors, seniors, getting ready to graduate. Where is everyone?
Graduation.
Graduate in April, like next month. Congratulations. Junior. Sophomore. Graduated, done. I like it. So we have it all over the place. But I want you to suspend all reality for a moment and be thinking, because all of you probably are somewhere in your careers, or you know where you're going to be heading, or maybe you have no idea, but you know that you like art, or you know you like theater, or you know that you like accounting. I have one question on here, and I'm going to want you to fill it out. But it's going to be, if you could connect with one person on the planet, and I want you to suspend all reality, and who would, you gave it to him, sorry, okay. Who would that one person be? And I always use this example here, we'll pass you. I know there's only a few, but I always use this example. I was a huge fan of what Oprah Winfrey created. I knew that she was a platform to be able to tell her story to millions of people every day. But I also knew that there was a team behind her that actually made that happen. So if I was to be asked this question, who is the one person I'd want to connect to professionally, I would have answered Ellen Rakuten. And Ellen Rakuten was the executive producer of the Oprah Winfrey Show for 24 years. I don't know if anyone ever saw Oprah went to Africa and did an amazing special where she helped like 18 schools there. She built her own school. Ellen was the one who put that together. Ellen has since gone on and had her own career in television. She did The Marriage Rep with Jerry Seinfeld. She has a show with, what's Garth Brooks' new wife's name? I can't even think of it, but she's a famous country singer. No, not Faith Hill. Oh my goodness, McBride. Is that his wife? Anyways, she has a new television show with her. Ellen is a rock star, and I've always wanted to be in television, so the one person I would have written down would have been Ellen Rakuten. So I want you to be thinking, whether it's Donald Trump because you're into real estate, whether it's, you know, the president and CEO of Price Waterhouse because you're into finance. I really want you to be thinking, who would be the one person, if you could connect to professionally, who would it be? And we're going to walk through 7 laws. I'm writing a book right now with a former writer from Forbes. She was there for 18 years, Carrie Blakely. And we've come up with these laws. And these laws are actually going to help you because, yes, I love connecting. I love humanity. I actually want to know like what each one of you are up to in your life, because I can guarantee there's going to be some way we can work together and make some magic happen. But what I like is when you yourself go, oh, this is how I'm going to connect to this person, because then there's really a vested interest. Right before I came here, I was on Facebook, and I put up, I don't know what the message was. This is Jessica, just started with me yesterday. I've known her for 20 years. It's my wife's cousin. But she's been dying to be my assistant, and now she just started yesterday. But I just put a message that we were coming here, Jessica and Claudine and I, and someone immediately wrote, oh my goodness, Scott, I want to connect to someone. And I could have guaranteed that she was going to write Oprah. I could have called it just the way she wrote it. And I said, oh, great. I said, well, I actually don't connect people with each other, which sort of is a lie because I do. That's what I do for a living. But I don't want to just do it. So I said, but I will empower you to connect with the right person. She's like, great, because I want to connect to Oprah. And I just laughed at that. So as you're thinking about this, these 7 laws will really connect you with this person. And I can guarantee you at the end of this hour, someone in here is going to connect to the person that they wrote down, because it's happened time and time again. And the very first time I ever spoke was here at UVU. And Claudine, I think you were there. Were you here at the very first time I spoke? It was like 2.5 years ago. And there was a girl that wanted to work for the RSL. Is that how you say it? The Real. She wanted to work for the Real. And it was the craziest thing because we were really in the early stages of this book I'm writing, so I didn't have it quite down, but I know how I work. I know how I operate. And this girl was like, she kept raising her hand saying, I want to work for the Real. And I was like, okay, great. But this guy's sitting literally right next to her. I mean, like as close as you two. So I thought for sure they were together. And he kept raising his hand. And I was like explaining like, okay, this is how I would do it. Let's walk through this. And he kept raising it. And finally I go, what's up? And he goes, I work for the Real. And I was like, well, you guys are dating. You know, like I just had all these assumptions. I was like, you guys are dating? No. You guys know each other? No. You've never met? No. And she's like, I want to work. I mean, and he was like the head of PR. He was interning for the head of PR. So he was the exact right person. But so often in life, we just like look the other way and we have no idea who's sitting next to us or who's in this room and how we can really move things forward. So, does anyone, and let's start out this way, does anyone in here know exactly the person they want to meet? Okay.
I want to work for Seth Goodell. He's the NFL league commissioner. Goodell, sorry. I get the last name wrong.
Goodell.
Roger.
Oh, it's Roger?
Wow.
Oh.
So she really doesn't want to work for him because she doesn't even know his name. I'm joking. So Roger Goodell?
Yes.
Roger Goodell, and he's the NFL commissioner?
Yes.
And what's your background?
Well, I'm a public relations major, and I've just been competing in the Bateman competition. So I've also had several internships here. Unfortunately, because of Utah, there's not a lot of sports. Granted, there's
Are you sure?
RSL and the Jazz, but not the NFL. It's not here.
Okay.
So.
But you're a big NFL fan.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, so Roger Goodell, that's his name. Awesome. And do you know where Roger lives?
New York.
So he lives in New York City?
Yep.
From New York City? I know nothing about him, so you're going to have to educate me. It sounds like you might, right? You know who Roger is, or of course, or no?
He actually started in the NFL 2-year internship program right after he graduated from college, and then he worked his way up to be the league commissioner.
Okay.
So.
Awesome. Awesome. And have you done any outreach to him yet?
I've tried some things that's blown up in my face.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Let's share one of them.
Well, I've tried reaching out. Well, I did apply for the internship, but obviously I didn't have any connections.
What internship?
The 2-year NFL internship.
Okay.
The same one that Seth got.
Wait, his name's not Seth, correct?
Roger.
I just want to get that right, because if you have his name wrong, you're never going to get he will never ever want you to work for him. So Roger. So you applied for, maybe you called him Seth in the
That could be it.
So that might be the reason why. So you applied for this 2-year internship with the NFL for working in Roger's office.
Yes.
Is that, does that explain it right? Okay.
Yeah.
And how long ago did you apply for that?
That was last fall.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So
Roger Goodell.
Yes.
So we know she wants to meet Roger. Is there anyone else in here that's sure that they know this is the person I want to work with, or I want to mentor me? I mean, no one? Tyler, come on. You've been following me on Twitter. I hope you have someone.
Okay. Do you know Tony Horton?
Tony Horton. Oh.
P90X? Yeah, he's like the creator of P90X. His boss is Carl Deichler. He's the CEO of Beachbody.
Okay.
And like, I'm into fitness and like nutrition and stuff like that. I think it'd be awesome to work.
So Tony Horton.
Yeah,
And Tony lives in LA?
I think he lives, he lives in LA. When I read about him, he used to want to go into like an acting career, but somehow he got into fitness and everything down there while he's
So
in there.
Tony Horton, the creator of P90X.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
He
And
used
why,
to,
are you studying fitness, or
No, I'm not studying fitness. I'm in PR.
You're in PR.
But I think like that's my second choice probably if I was studying something. So I'm like, why not combine the two?
Yeah. And you love it.
Yeah, I love it.
You love it. And have you reached out to him, or do you follow him on Twitter? Or
Tweeted him, and I've been following him on Twitter. He's probably one of the very first people I followed.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten any results either. So.
They'll come. They'll come.
Yeah.
They'll come. Anyone else? For sure they want to meet or work with someone. Come on. I mean, like, you all have passions, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll go around this room. Has everyone written down a name? No. No? Why not? What do you study? Or you're done?
Yes.
You're done with UVU.
Yeah.
You've graduated, and are you working?
I am.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Hate microphones. I just have my own blog, and I'm just trying to grow that and get information.
What's your blog?
It's called Salt and Preppers.
Salt and
Preppers.com.
Preppers, which is?
It's a blog just to help moms, young moms with kids or young families to get their preparations put together in case of an emergency or disaster.
Okay.
So I don't need a specific person I need to connect to. I just want to get information out there that will help people be better prepared.
Okay, but your goal is to let, how many moms are on the planet? I mean, millions of moms know about this, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I would think, in order to do that, wouldn't it be great to have someone like Kathy Ireland? I'm just throwing names out there, but someone who has 1 million followers on Twitter, who's a mom and who is vested in moms, say, hey, here's a great blog about prepping. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Prepping your families to be prepared for what?
Any kind of emergency. If there is.
Is that a Utah thing?
No.
Well, I mean, I'm just asking. Like, I mean,
not
no?
necessarily.
Like, no?
Big here.
It's big. It is big here. I'm sure it's big here. But like, I'm just wondering, like, your readers of your blog, are they all over the world? I'm sure.
All over the country.
All over the country.
And I've only had it going for 4 months, 3 to 4 months, so it's
And
very.
you're loving it?
I love it.
You love it.
Yes.
And wouldn't you want more readers?
Yes.
And then sponsors? I mean, like people who are like, okay, hey, here.
Who they are yet.
You don't know, you have no idea?
No.
Okay, that's good. But I mean, I'm just going to plant the seed that I would say someone, and that's why my first question out here was, how many people have Twitter? And how many had them? Like a handful. Twitter? Twitter? No? Hi, I'm Scott. Twitter? Okay. Twitter. Twitter, yes. Okay, I'm at Scott Lazerson. So if you want to pull out your phone and tweet me right now, that is like probably one of the best, most powerful tools to connect to a Roger. Was that his name? Roger. And is he on Twitter? Roger.
He's not. I just checked.
You just, I like it. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are so many ways to immediately connect. But I can tell you, someone in the NFL office is on Twitter.
Yes.
And you're going to want to become their friends. So anyone else, for sure they know who they want to meet. Or any thoughts? Did you write someone down? No? What are you studying? And luckily we only have 10 people in here, so I'm really going to go around. So you might want to leave if you don't want to talk to me. It might be a little uncomfortable. But you're studying what?
I want to be a high school counselor.
A high school counselor. Awesome. And in Utah? I know nothing about high school counselor. I have kids in high school, but
Yeah, probably in Utah.
okay. And then, what's your passion? What are you reading? Do you go on the internet?
I do.
I'm gonna ask some crazy
Okay.
questions. But are you on the internet? Like, what are you reading every day on the internet?
Well, I like to read about politics
Going
and
to the Huffington Post? Or are you going? Where are you reading?
just anywhere. I read about everything.
You're reading everything. So
yeah.
I look at my tabs, and it's CNN, Fox News, Bloomberg, People Magazine, TMZ, Perez Hilton. I mean, it is literally all over the board because I want to know what the right wing, what the left wing, what crazy Perez Hilton, what everyone's saying. I want to know it all. And those are people I like to connect to. So, and that's really what Twitter is. I mean, that's where I get my news feed. These are all people I'm following. So, who did you read today?
Oh, I haven't read it.
You haven't read anything yesterday. What was the last thing you read? I'm just curious.
What did I read? I read something about immigration reform yesterday on. I can't
Who
remember.
wrote it? That's a hot topic.
That's a hot topic. Yes, it is. I can't remember who wrote it. I found it on Facebook on the United We Dream page, but I can't remember where. It's
Okay.
maybe it's
So let's just.
Our Voices.
Okay. So interestingly enough, let's just take this for 1 second because I'm curious who you would write down. I was reading a tweet last night that Jeb Bush, was he the governor of Florida or former governor of Florida? Wow, you are adamant about that. Are you a fan of Jeb Bush or no?
No, I just like political stuff.
Okay, so he said he was not for, and I might, if anyone else has read this or you're up to it, but he was not for undocumented immigration. Where, and I didn't dive in and read it all because I like to have my finger on it a little bit, but I'm just curious. There has to be someone, like if you like that and you're following it, and there's someone, like if you're into immigration reform, or I don't know. Is that something that interests you? You'd like to see, immigration reformed?
What?
Like, is that like I don't understand immigration reform, so you're gonna have to educate me. So if you're into that, no?
Not that much, no.
Not that much. Okay. I'm just trying to dig, and that's what I want. I want you to walk out of here going, there is someone I want to connect to, and it's the most rock star school counselor there ever was. Did you ever see the movie Precious?
Precious. Oh, I see.
Did anyone ever see the movie Precious? It was nominated for like 10 Academy Awards, 1, 2. I'm having dinner next Tuesday night with Lee Daniels, the Academy Award winner who did it. It's about career counselors, isn't it? I mean, it's about inner city kids. But Mariah Carey.
That movie?
Excuse me?
I just remember that movie.
Yeah, Mariah Carey actually plays a school counselor in the movie. So I'm just saying, I just want you to be thinking outside the box about someone you'd like to connect to professionally. Okay, anyone else? Any thoughts on, maybe you're already connected to everyone you want to be professionally?
I'm really into organizational technologies. Organizational technologies and business efficiency, manufacturing efficiency, things like that. So, but I don't really know I don't really know who would be the rock star in that industry. I don't.
Wow. So explain that to me. I love knowing this kind of stuff, like meeting the person who came up. Well, actually, in a class, I met someone whose best friend was the guy who invented particle board. I mean, for me, like those type of things, I'm like, wait, I want to be your friend. And where is your friend? But what do you mean organizational efficiency? Like a Covey-esque, like how you run your business better?
Somewhat in the managerial sense and in the practical sense of like manufacturing. If there's a process on the physical manufacturing floor that can be shortened or made more efficient, I love taking chaotic things and making them more organized and more efficient. But I don't know who, like I said, I don't know who would be the rock star in that industry.
Okay. So I'm going to throw this out there because I want to be your friend, Jessica. I want to know him because then Tom and Claudine probably can tell you, like, I am so disorganized, but my life is all over, and there has to be a way. And you'll see through these 7 laws, but I'm planting this seed with you because I'd like you to go, oh, this is an interesting study. This guy's crazy, and he knows the entire planet. But there has to be a way to shorten that. And that's really why I come and give these talks, because I love saying the same thing. Like, okay, everyone on this planet, this girl's saying, I mean, excuse me, don't be mad at me, but she's saying that she wants to connect to this guy. She doesn't even have his name right. She doesn't even, but she's adamant that she wants to go work for the NFL. And I'm just saying, I'm coming in here and saying the same thing. Let's shorten this. There is a way, and I can guarantee you that if we keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper, that the 25 people that are in here, somehow we're going to get her connected to the NFL immediately.
Roger
and
Goodell.
Short what?
To Roger Goodell.
Yeah, to Roger Goodell, the right name. Roger. But, so I'm planting that seed with you because I love shortening this, but there has to be someone, I assume, that has written books on this.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of literature written on it. The Chinese are very good at this, and most of the literature, a lot of the literature comes from them.
Wow. And I was just told that they own the United States yesterday by someone. Is that true? I always love all my political friends. They're like, the Chinese own us anyway, so. But I'm sure. I mean, have you been to China?
No.
Okay, because it's pretty amazing that in 2 minutes something can be made. Like, you're like, oh, here's this J. Crew sweater that I know took forever to be made. And my wife's like, oh, it was there at my hotel room the next morning. I was like, you kidding me? So, I mean, it's amazing what they can do. But I'd like you to dig a little deeper and even Google that. I'm sure you have, because I really want you to walk out of here thinking, and let's just say it was Stephen Covey. I don't know what the name's going to be, but whoever that name is, that there's someone out there that is really going to be able to help you, because if this is your passion and that's something you want to step into, do something great for the rest of your life. And that's what this little talk's about. So, did you get a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. Did you write down a name?
There's this one dude that I've been studying in my 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the guy who wrote the book type thing. He might be dead, but I would love to meet him or meet someone related to him.
So, like Covey?
Yeah.
Is it Stephen Covey?
Yeah.
Who is dead? He passed away, last year?
Last year. But I would love to meet, I don't know, someone related to him or someone who worked with him or something, just to kind of get, I don't know, I just think it would be cool to make that connection.
And you know they're based in Salt Lake City. So Franklin Covey, who owns that, is based right here. And I'm just saying we can make those connections, and it's really easy. And if you'd want to, what year are you in school?
Currently I'm a freshman.
Okay. So easily, there's a guy who I actually met here, Parker, who's now one of the, does anyone know Parker? So you know Parker, who works at Franklin Covey, correct?
Curtis Morley.
And Curtis, who works at Franklin Covey. Yep.
He also serves on the foundation board here at UVU.
Oh, so are you on Twitter? You will
yes,
be after this?
yeah,
Okay.
I'll be on.
And you're on Twitter, correct? So I just want you to connect the dots, especially if you're a freshman. This would be an amazing opportunity for you to just do an internship, 45 minutes up the road with someone that you're already interested in. So I'd write down, a Covey, or I'd write down someone. But also, what's your Twitter handle?
At H. Scoville, SCO.
Can we exchange afterwards?
Yes, but I'm all about immediate connectivity, and when we jump into this, you're going to go, oh, that's why I wrote it down right now, because you actually might forget, because he might go, we have to go because something just happened, and you're not going to connect to her. So if you have that, here, what is it, Heather? So, okay, we're going to jump in this. So I hope this has gotten your minds thinking about someone you'd like to connect to, and I'm talking to all of you, like even me thinking like, who's someone? So here's just some fun. My background has been crazy and diverse, and Claudine was nice enough to put this together today. I just had an amazing Sundance run. Sundance is my favorite time. Has anyone been to the film festival? Yes. Only one yes, two. Yeah, Tom, 3. Okay. So I'm just going to put this on the radar. Next January, you live here. It's literally 15 minutes up the road. They do screenings right here at the Sundance screening room, and the bulk of it happens in Sundance. But this Sundance was amazing. This picture right under Eva Longoria is me and 3 of my favorite friends from this Sundance. So Ariel Nasser on the left was nominated for an Academy Award this year for his movie Buzkashi Boys. And just as a rock star, I spent 5 days with him. The middle one is my good friend Nana, who's the current Miss USA. And the gentleman on the right, or on the left, however you're looking at it, is Harrison Westwater, the executive producer of Bloomberg West, which is the #1 tech show in the world. And they have the Marissa Myers. Marissa might be someone of interest to you, just what she's the new CEO of Yahoo. But they have on rock stars constantly every day on their show. So I did, for a client of mine, I did an amazing event for Stop Hunger Now was the client. And we brought in my friend who won Iron Chef. And we had 300 CEOs there and just rocked the world with some of my celebrity friends and bringing attention to a great cause. And that's what I'm all about. So I've had this crazy eclectic life. Just as background so everyone knows, it started really with Larry King, as Heather mentioned. I was Larry King's executive director, and at 25, I couldn't believe how easy, obviously this is a man who, he must have been in his 60s when I started with him, but how easy it was for him to navigate the world. It was like, and I always wanted to meet people. So it'd be like, he would tell me, Scott, it's Christmas. Al and Tipper Gore are up in Deer Valley. You're gonna get in your car, and I am 25. We have our first little Honda. It's like, you're gonna go up and meet Al Gore. It was amazing to see how easily he navigated the world. Yes, he'd been doing it for 20 years. He's one of the most recognized talk show hosts on the planet. But nonetheless, I took so much from that 3 years with Larry and applied it to my own life that I went on. And after that, I ended up running one of the founders of New Skin. I ran her foundation, which was an amazing experience. And we went to Guatemala and we built schools. And fast forward, actually, I had a huge debacle with this old boss of mine 3 years ago. And my best friend came to me and said, I actually want you to step out of the nonprofit world into the for-profit world, and I'm gonna pay you $10,000 a month. You work for me for 3 days, and you connect your world to my CEO. And I really, at that point, had nothing to lose. I was like, okay, let's try this. And in the vein of a publicist, or for those of you in PR, publicity was definitely an element to it because of my background, working with Larry, of working with notable talk show hosts, friends being producers of every show on the planet, and we hit it out of the park. I signed the contract, and that first month, they had been trying for 6 years and just didn't have this tool of connectivity. They've been trying for 6 years to have their CEO on Sean Hannity, which I thought was odd. I'm not that I'm not a fan of Hannity, but I was like, that's really your biggest goal? And so I called my friend, Lauren Fritz, who was the producer of Sean Hannity. And I said, hey, I'm trying this new thing. I'm gonna build this company, I think, and can we have the CEO on your show? And she shot me down, and she said no. It's like, oh my goodness, wait, I just signed this contract. I have to make this happen. A week later, she called me back and she said, you're not gonna believe this. We actually need a tax expert on the show. When can he be on the show? I was like, okay, awesome. So we hit it out of the park. We went and did a media trip to New York, and Forbes did this great article on me. And after that, I've landed numerous clients, a lot that Heather mentioned. I'm working with Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. I'm working with Talking Tom, which is at 500 million downloads. It's the number one app on the iPhone. We're working right now with the United Nations Global Entrepreneur Council. So we have some really cool clients, and it's really fun. And the bottom line is what I'm spending an hour with you guys talking about is what I do, and I'm being paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do for some rock star clients. So I'm just saying we have this, short amount of time. I really want you to be thinking, who is this person I want to connect to? So we're going to jump into the laws. I've never done this. We're actually getting ready. We're revamping like a thing, so forgive us. But you want to go to the first law? So the first law is you win, I win. And I actually think these pictures are great. How many people have eaten at Tortilla Bar here in Orem? Has anyone? Tom and Claudine and Jessica, my 3 people. No one else. Has anyone heard of Tortilla Bar? You've heard of it? You've heard of it? Yeah? Anyways, it is the most, I will tell you this, and I've eaten all over the world. It is the most amazing food I've ever had. Anywhere, hands down. And I'm talking from Africa to Paris to Spain. I mean, Sam Oteo, who's the executive chef and owner of Tortilla Bar, I was introduced to him by actually Tom. The first day Tom came in, Tom in the back of the room is one of my interns. When my interns come in, my first thing I say to them is, who is the coolest person you know? Because bottom line is I want to know them. And that's what I'm getting at, because I can guarantee you know someone cool. I promise you, when you tell me who that cool person is, I'm going to get you with someone cool like the Cubbies. And you're going to go, oh, wow, I want to do this. But I said to Tom, who's the coolest person you know? And he said, or is that how I said? Sort of? Along those lines. And he said, there's actually a friend who's opening a restaurant. And I said, oh, how is it? Because I'm a foodie. I love, love, love great food. And he was like, oh, it's this person. I said, okay. So, and I've learned this long ago. You handed me your computer, or we went to your Facebook page, and I wrote the message as though I was from Tom. Hi, Sam. I'm sitting here with Scott Lazerson, and this is what he does, and this is who he does it with, and from Paris Hilton to blah, 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 he does cool things. We should all meet. And what happened, Tom?
A couple hours later, he Facebooked us back, and he said, yeah, let's meet. That was a Friday that I met with Scott. The next morning, Saturday morning, we were there. Sam wasn't planning on being open. In fact, Tortilla Bar hadn't opened yet.
Right.
But he went out early because he saw what Scott could do just in that short Facebook message.
Yeah.
He went out early to the farmers, the ranchers, the producers of the organic produce that he uses in his Tortilla Bar, and got everything he needed and made us an exclusive lunch.
And we signed that day. So when I say take the opportunity right now, oh, can we do it afterwards? I say right here, you have 2 seconds to actually make things happen. So we went there, and I couldn't believe what he had made me. I mean, I live in Orem, and we eat at Sundance, and we go to Park City, and we eat, there's some great places, but this is Orem. I mean, you're used to the Norma, and then Mi Ranchito. I mean, I eat there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting down everywhere else I eat here, but it is not what Tortilla Bar is. I went in there and I said to him, I can guarantee you it's 24 seats. That restaurant is smaller than this room. 24 seats. I said, I love what you've made so much. I'm willing to be along for the ride as long as you take care of me the rest of your life with food. And so, I mean, literally, it was like, did he not, in that moment said, done. So the next week or 2 weeks later, we had the mayor. We had the mayor there for the ribbon cutting, and we've since.
3 days later.
3 days later, we had the mayor there for the ribbon cutting, and it has been packed since. If you try to go, I can guarantee you it is unbelievably packed. And then as we back up, we don't have to back up, but that picture I was showing you of Miss USA and my friend up for an Academy Award and Harrison from Bloomberg, that night when my friend flew in to host the Iron Chef event, Sam was one of the competing Iron Chefs. So it was all about immediate connectivity. This is Neil. Neil was one of my favorite interns. I'm so glad he came in. He's graduating in April, right? Wow. Or no. In a few more years, maybe. No. I'm joking. But the whole idea of you win, I win, I can tell you That's what I want you to be thinking of. With that one name that you wrote down, you need to be thinking, how can I ensure that Roger wins? He's already winning. He's already a rock star. He's already running the NFL. But at least with this thought process, you're going to think there has to be something I can bring to the table.
Well, my question for you is, that's the very top. There's obviously other ways into the NFL.
If we, started maybe in a, at the bottom, like, how do you find those people that are maybe more on that entry level?
Oh, you're going to find them. You're going to find them. I mean, I always say start top down. You will find them. And I'm talking Google and research and Google and research and Google and research and Google and research.
Okay.
But these concepts are going to have to be, regardless of if it's Roger or it's a personal or it's an assistant to, a very junior level executive. That concept of you win, I win is going to take you so far. And I can tell you, Tortilla Bar is winning. And I hope all of you will. I mean, it's literally right here on State Street. You'll miss it if you don't see it, but it's right south of Wendy's. There's a Wendy's, and then there's like a Chacarron. There's like a few things right there, but it's the most amazing thing. And the more successful my friends are, the more successful I'm going to be. Someone just told me, and I've heard it a million times, but someone just brought it up again. You are as successful as the 5 closest people around you. So really take a look at who you're hanging out with and going, oh, wow, why am I hanging out with that person? Anyways, or wow, actually I'm happy I'm hanging out with this person. But the next law, so the first one, you win, I win. The next law is it's not who you know, but what you know about who. And this is seriously, like, this is where you can hit it home fast. I am a huge fan of Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. I followed her philanthropically. When I worked for Larry King, Sarah actually was his guest host one week when he was off and he wasn't there. I didn't meet her. I wasn't in LA when she was shooting, but I watched her that whole week. I've always followed what she's done. She was 5th in line to be the Queen of England. I don't know if anyone knows the story of Sarah, but I mean, she's had quite a colorful life. She divorced Prince Andrew, went bankrupt. She lives now back with Prince Andrew. They have 2 daughters who are in line to be the Queens of England. I mean, she has quite a life. But I've always followed her. I have always loved her. And I've always known about Children in Crisis, which is her charity that she's had, and it's celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. So, big fan of her. And finally, and actually, I had a dream about her, crazy enough, 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago. I had a very vivid dream. And in the dream, we were friends, all of this really cool stuff, and I woke up and I was actually in a class, and I went to this class the next day, and it was actually an assignment that we were all going to go home and have a dream. And I went back to the class the next day. I was like, I'm the first one to share, and I'm like, I had this dream, so I actually have 30 witnesses to say, oh, Scott did say he had that dream, whether he had it or not. But I had this dream, told all of them. Fast forward 8 months later, I'm in Los Angeles on a business meeting, and we're getting ready. We're at this hotel. We're getting ready to leave. We left, actually. The meeting was right by the pool at the restaurant. We left, and we're walking down the hall, and you have to go down the elevator to get out of the hotel. We're walking down the hall, and my attorney is there, and this whole entourage is walking towards us. And I say to her, I go, is that Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York? And she's like, it is. And this is I'm gonna keep coming back to you in this point of, I hope you wrote her Twitter handle down. But we're walking, and we're walking like this, and my heart is just beating because I had this dream about this woman who's now walking towards me with her whole entourage. And I literally turn around and I go, Sarah? And Larry always said, just always address them, and then the first thing you say, and she turns around, and everyone turns around, she's like, yes? I go, I'm Scott Lazerson, and she's like, oh. But in my mind, I'm thinking she knows me, because we're like best friends. I had this dream about her. So I'm like expecting a different reaction, and she's like, yes? And then I immediately go, I worked for Larry King. Like, I'm looking for any way to like connect to her. And she shuts me down again. She's like, oh, fantastic. I'm like, crap, God, I would have thought that would have opened something up. And then I say to her, and I'm a huge fan of Children in Crisis. And it was as though the Red Sea parted. She grabbed my hand and she said, what's your name? I said, Scott Lazerson. And we began to talk. And I also know the game. And we're going to get to another law about knowing the team around. And so I say to her, oh my goodness, I had a dream, and then I, like, my Red Sea part, I'm like, I had a dream about you. I seemed like a crazy stalker, but luckily we actually became friends. So much so, I said, well, who do I talk to? Because I knew she had her assistants, she had her bodyguard, she had everyone with her. And she goes, no, and she hands me her purse and pulls out a piece of paper, and she writes down her cell phone number. We're both staying in the same hotel. She writes down her room number, and that night, we actually got together and shot video footage for Oprah, and she later went on and did her 6th show, Finding Sarah, on the Oprah Winfrey Network after we had sent this video clip to her. So it's not who you know, but what you know about who. And so you're going to want to know their name, and you're going to want to know where their kids go to school. You're going to want to find ways to really connect to this person. So Sarah actually says, Scott, here's my phone number, and we're going to be best friends. The next law, and we'll hurry through these because drinking from the higher cup. And this goes back to you're really the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And I love being able to go back and point to, this was an amazing night. Arun Gandhi is the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. He was there when Gandhi actually passed away. The stories that he has are unbelievable. And to be able to sit with him and hear these things and talk to him, and actually going back to the first law of you win, I win, helping Dr. Gandhi win in India and connecting him with the United Nations and their education programs. Because, yeah, he might be Gandhi, but sometimes he doesn't even know the right people to talk in education to at the United Nations. So really ensuring that Dr. Gandhi wins, but really drinking from the higher cup, and what you surround yourself with, you become. The next law is meet the team, and this is so important. Behind every successful person is a team of people. You make your goal a lot easier if you know the team first. You just do. If you could tell me, like, sometimes I know, like, I knew Ellen Rakuten. I knew her name. I knew actually everyone that was around her at the Oprah organization. I knew her assistant, Libby. I was like, oh, okay, these are all the right people. I didn't know any of them, but I had done enough research to know. Just like you're into P90X. P90X, right? Yeah, like, who's his team? Who's around him? Who's taking care of him? Because I can guarantee you an assistant or someone else has been in your shoes, and even that person, that center, I always call it the rock star, has been in your shoes, but typically the people around him have been in your shoes and are saying, hey, I actually want to help Tyler out. I want to give him a heads up. I want to say, oh, he was so nice to me. And so when go ahead.
My dad's in photography. He takes sports photography and stuff, and I want to go into communications. And he has connections with, like, Real Salt Lake, the Jazz and stuff. Would my dad be a good connection? Because he has all, like, the...
For you?
Yeah.
Or for me? Or for probably, I'm sure, a few people in here. I'm sure even for you. Who else just said they wanted to... There was someone talking about... Oh, we were talking about the Jazz and Real with you, with the NFL. Yeah. No, but sharing those connections and being able to really find an organic, real way to connect people, because you don't want to fit, a round peg, into a square hole. You want to make sure it's organic and it's real, and that something actually fruitful could come out of it.
Yeah.
So I think just putting that on someone's radar would be fantastic, because I can guarantee you it's smart for Heather to know those type of people. So when she goes to New York and meets with the NFL, she can go, oh, this is what I know about Real. This is what I know about the NBA because of the Utah Jazz and who I've worked with. And one of my friends is a rock star photographer, meaning your dad.
Yeah.
So I think, immediately putting those people together. And that's part of your team. I always say this. Years ago, one of my first experiences, I had a dinner we were honoring Donald Trump. It was when Titanic had just come out, and Celine Dion was singing the theme to Titanic. It was 300 people at this dinner, and I was the executive director of the Larry King Cardiac Foundation. So I was up behind a podium introducing Donald Trump, introducing Harvey McKay, introducing all of these people. I was 25 years old. I was super young. But even then I knew if I watched people who were trying to get to me just to get to Larry or to Donald and would ignore my wife, I knew that they were not probably someone I really wanted to be around, because it is so important for you to know the team. And if at the end of a program, when you go and you see many of us have seen people speak, and suddenly there's 1,000 people around someone, and I so often watch the wife That wife is going to get in that car in about 20 minutes, and all you're trying to do is go get a picture with Donald Trump? You're dumb. Go talk to the wife, because that wife might say, come to lunch, come to dinner, come meet Donald. And I remember we took our son to see a skateboarding movie at the Sundance Film Festival last year, and it was with Stacy Peralta. I don't know if anyone's a skateboarder in here, but supposedly he is like the Tony Hawk. I mean, Stacy's the guy behind all of these things. I watched the same thing happen. I went, and Stacy's wife is like, oh, here's my cell phone number, here's my son's cell phone number. My son was like, Dad, I cannot believe it. Like, we're in with Stacy Peralta. Like, when we go to LA, we're like in. I was like, and I'm watching 100 other people, and I can guarantee you, Stacy is not giving out his cell phone number. So meeting the team is so important for you to understand whoever you wrote down. If you don't know that, then oftentimes you're going to lose, because you're going to be like, oh, wait, I don't know the assistant? How did I not know that? The next law is make a famous friend. And this is all relative. And I just say I like this because all of us have someone we know that's famous. And that's totally relative. I'm not talking Kim Kardashian. I'm not talking Matt Lauer. I'm not talking Larry King. I'm talking, we live in Orem, Utah. And some of the most famous people in here are like Miss Utah actually lives. Not this, actually, there are two Miss Utahs. I don't know if you know how that works, but there's Miss Utah USA and there's Miss Utah America. But Miss Utah America, who's not this one, actually lives 2 blocks away from here. She lives right here in Orem, and I can guarantee you having a famous friend is fun. And all of you know, when you have, I don't care if it's the CEO of a company, these are famous people. Jim Evans, the mayor of Orem, lives 2 doors up from me. I'm talking like, just having a famous friend is so awesome for you to get to that goal of, did you write someone down? Did I even ask you? Who'd you write down?
I wrote down Brian Regan.
Brian Regan, the comedian. Okay, are you a comedian?
Well, I was watching one of his shows the other night. I'm like, this guy's really funny. I want to meet him.
But are you a comedian? Like, why? What? So that question is meeting someone professionally, and actually, this could apply to this, because he could be your famous friend who actually could get you to your professional friend. But are you in communication? Do you want to be a manager? Do you want to be an agent?
Yeah, I am in communication. Right, that's my major. And I mean, if I could be a comedian, sure, let's go for it.
So do you actually do stand-up?
I don't do stand-up.
Oh, but you like to?
I love just like being with friends and just getting a laugh out of them is like.
Is this your girlfriend?
No.
No. Friends? Friends?
Yeah.
Or do you even know each other?
We have a class together.
Okay. Does he make you laugh? No?
We don't usually talk.
We don't even talk. I like it. Okay. But you want to know Brian Regan.
Right.
Do you have any idea how to get to him? Do you know his team? Are you on Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter.
Okay, well, I would ask you need to find out if he's on Twitter, because I know that everyone thinks like writing this name down is just something maybe dumb and I'm here, but I mean, obviously all of you are here and have taken time out because you could be at lunch, you could be 100 other places. Like, I really want you to be serious about it, because you actually could know Brian, but you want to have purpose behind why you want to know him. She wants to work at the NFL, I assume. That's a total assumption. She would love to work at the NFL, and I want to hear what her passion is and why she really wants to do it. And she's going to want to know the team, just as you'll want to know who the team around Brian is. And another easy thing to do as you look up whoever it is in the NFL or you look up P90X, oftentimes these famous people or these influencers, will have 1 million followers, and then they follow 100 people. Well, you're going to want to look through all 100 people, because you're going to find that team. So if you go look at NFL, I can guarantee you they probably have 5 million, 10 million followers, and who are they following? And they're going to be following the directors, the coaches, the people who actually have Twitter handles. And that is like a just huge piece of information that's so easy and out there to make something happen. The same with Covey, or whoever these influencers are. It's going to be the same way. He might have 1 million followers, but he's following 100 people. Like if it was Covey, it'd be Deborah Lund, it'd be their CEO, it'd be, like those type of people who you will want to connect to go, oh, okay, that makes sense, and that will further your career. The next slide, we have 2 more laws. Introduce your 2 most powerful connectors. This is a fun story. I took, as crazy as she is, I took Paris Hilton to Guatemala, and we built a maternal health care clinic. It was insane. So on the record, it was insane, because I don't know if I'd ever work with her again. But I can't imagine many people getting someone this famous to go into a third world country to do something, but my tenacity and my belief and my love of humanity made this happen. And this is, he's basically the governor, would be, I mean, they call him mayor, but it's more like a governor title. So we got, and you can't really see it, but the thing she has in her hand, which is actually at my office because I took it, is the staff, is the key to the state of Guatemala. And I don't ask for anything when I introduce two powerful people to each other. I just know something good will come of it. And that's what I constantly am thinking this and doing this and trying to get, I mean, I really believe, I think my dad taught it to me when I was really, really little about my trust accounts. And he's like a bank account, he's like, there's nothing in your trust account. And I'm like, what does that even mean? I can't, you lied to me. So it's like, I think I've erred on the side of doing good things constantly. And that's why I love speaking here and why I love people who step up, like Tyler at the very beginning. He was like, how do I get an internship? And I'm like, dude, the minute you say that, it's like the Red Sea's part and I'm all over it. And whatever we have to do to blow you up and get you with the P90X guy, we'll do, because most likely what will happen, because I gave the same talk a year and a half ago with Neil, and Neil wrote down someone who, and he's a huge fitness guy, and if anyone's on Instagram, you can follow him and see him. It's sickening how he actually looks with, well, he has clothes on, but it's disgusting. But he wrote that you wrote down that a guy that you wanted to connect to, and then as he began to connect to him, you realized he was sort of a douchebag, correct? So, I mean, we have it in our mind, like this famous person or this person who really could be what I want to be actually isn't. And that's what I want you to find out as quick as possible. And so I just say the quicker we can introduce two powerful connectors, the better off we are. And all of us know someone influential, someone great. I'm thinking immediately of you and your blog. I just became friends with Stephanie Nielsen. Do you know Stephanie? Stephanie has, I think, 8 million. She lives here. She was the woman who, her and her husband almost died in the plane crash. Yeah. Nini, is that how you say it? We took her to Sundance, the film festival, her and her husband. She's become a good friend. She's someone who you could probably glean a lot of information from, and hopefully, you know, give her something in return. But just making those connections is so important to further what everyone wants to do. The last law is living beyond 9 to 5. And all of you are here at your lunch hour doing something, you know. Most of us live not most of us, but a lot of people do live 9 to 5. They think, oh, okay, at 5 o'clock it's done. We're going home. I'm going to have my dinner, and then we'll be. I mean, actually, I don't know anyone. Well, my two brothers. I have two younger brothers, and they both live this way. They literally get home at 6, and they have dinner. I'm like, how do you guys live this way? But this is a great picture because I judged Miss Universe a year and a half ago in Brazil. And this picture was taken at probably 1 in the morning. We had just finished the night. And I mean, we actually all looked like we're wide awake. I mean, it was an amazing night. But we had just finished judging 167 countries came, if you ever watched it, came from around the world. And it was an amazing night. And so I just want you to be thinking, if I'm going to connect to this person I wrote down, they might be on Twitter and tweeting at 1 a.m. And I have a great story about Kathy Ireland, who's worth $1 billion, was on the cover of Forbes, the famous model. But she tweets at probably 1 a.m. in the morning. And I just tweeted her out. I think, Neil, you were our intern. And I tweeted her out, and she was like, she immediately tweeted me back, and she said, oh, if so-and-so follows you and so-and-so follows you, you're my new friend. And she immediately followed me. And we've since had a banter, and now she's following my kids and doing things. So as you're thinking about the person you want to connect to, you have to realize it might not happen from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Really good example of this. My friend is, she's an avid NCIS watcher, and she follows Mark Harmon on Twitter. Okay. And he tweeted at 2 o'clock in the morning the other night, and she, I think, retweeted or whatever it is, and he replied directly to her immediately. Yeah. And they had a little back and forth at 2 o'clock in the morning because nobody else was there, and so he's like, might as well just talk to her.
Right,
so,
exactly. And that's the whole point. And she, who knows if she'd ever want to go into television, but but that could be a perfect opportunity for her to ease her way in, saying, hey, I'm doing this, and being really smart about your tweet. So these are basically 7 laws, and I mean, I know we're out of time. I'm so sorry. We're out of time. But I really would like you to tweet me out. And Heather, if you tweet me out, and have we tweeted before? We probably never have. But if you'll tweet me out, and we'll begin that process of saying, hey, let's get you to Roger. Or if you tweet me out, I mean, Tyler and I tweet each other, but we talk about P90X. And we talk and get you a Twitter account. But hopefully this gives you some insight to just the power and the ease of connectivity, because it doesn't have to be hard. And I know we have these mental blocks that we go to school for 4 years and we do this and this should happen and this should happen. And I'm going, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's break down all of these walls, because it really doesn't have to be that. And if that's truly what you want to do, it still can happen. So I appreciate you, letting me come and speak. And I am going to give a plug, because we would love, I'm such a UVU fan. If you know anyone that would love to intern with us this spring and summer, now Neil's here, Claudine's here, maybe they'll tell you not to do it, but we would love it, because I would love a handful of rock star people who want to intern this summer. But thank you for having me.